Hello, my friends. How are y'all doing out there today? I hope that you are doing well, as today Donald Trump continues his absolute path of destruction. While Donald Trump is whining to the world about how he should be able to keep a $400 million jet as a gift from Qatar, and also telling American people that we need to tighten up our belts, and instead of buying our precious children $30 at Christmas, which isn't really a thing we do, but you get the point. He says, Americans, you can only have $2. And when it comes to back to school time, when your kid needs 250 pencils to make it through the school year and get a better education and do better for themselves, Americans, you can only have 5 pencils. I demand America tightens up their belt and deals with the consequences of my actions while I whine and cry and bitch about why I can't have a $400 million jet. I don't know what's happened with that yet. I don't know if he's accepted the damn thing or if he's planning to leave it there. I don't know. We'll see how it all shakes out. But here we go, my friends. The reality of Donald Trump's supply chain crisis is starting to hit us now, as Walmart has come out and said they will absolutely have to raise prices because of Donald Trump's tariffs. Now, I covered this a while back when they had first said that around the beginning of Donald Trump's term, and now they are officially saying, I know the world's a weird place. We said it, but now we're officially saying it. They have no choice but to raise prices to the American consumer because of Donald Trump's trade wars, his tariffs, all this bullshit that Donald Trump is trying to do. And talk about
Shalom, brothers. Giving all praises to my Heavenly Father. His name is Yahweh, by Yeshem, Yahweh Shah, by Yeshem Kadash. Love honor to the apostles and heirs everywhere. And peace and many salutations to Yah Campbell's Torah and His truth. This is the trucker that I listen to. His page is The Enemy from Within. I watched about two or three of his videos, and he gives good information. Now he's a Democrat, so he speaks about the whole Democrat and Republican dichotomy. But with that being said, he gives a lot of great information of what I've seen about the economy. So once he said that, I looked up what he said, what he mentioned in regards to Walmart, and it's true. Now, this is according to CNN. It says Walmart warns it will raise prices because of tariffs. New York CNN. It says Walmart, the world's largest retailer, said President Donald Trump's tariffs are too high and it will raise prices on some items as Trump's global trade war increases the company's costs. We will do our best to keep our prices as low as possible, but given the magnitude of the tariffs, even at the reduced levels announced this week, we aren't able to absorb all the pressure given the reality of narrow retail margins. Walmart CEO Doug McMillan said Thursday on the earning call, the higher tariffs will result in higher prices, he said. Tariffs on China are raising costs on electronics and toys, McMillan said, and some food costs are going up from tariffs on Costa Rica, Peru, and Colombia. The price hikes will begin late this month. I'm concerned that consumer is going to start seeing higher prices. You'll begin to see that likely towards the tail end of the month, and then certainly much more in June. Walmart finance chief John David Rainey said in an interview with CNBC Thursday. So as you can see, these tariffs are going to make it more expensive to shop at Walmart. And I'm not sure the products that are coming from Costa Rica and Peru and Colombia. But you have to understand, that could be an array of things. Like it could be beef, it could be chicken, it could be, something as small as, different oils, which is not so small if you're cooking. If you cook with them, it could be a plethora of things. But we know that, it's going to get very significant. I would say not very, but significantly more expensive to shop at Walmart, man. And people are already living from check to check. I did a sit down a few days ago, going into how you have people out there that's already using credit as a way to purchase, groceries, and you have a significant amount of those people that are getting behind even with that debt. So, you know, the American population is definitely feeling the strain, and this is something that can continue for months. You know what I'm saying? You have to understand when these cargoes are coming in, things of that nature. It's not just one cargo for a week. Nah, this is for months. That they're shipping in. America actually ships meats from even China. Okay, let me show you this. Let's ask AI. Okay, does America import meat from China? Yes. AI overview. Yes, the U.S. does import meat from China, but the volume is small compared to other countries. While China is a major global meat importer, it's also a significant supplier of other foods items to the U.S., such as apple juice, garlic, canned mandarin oranges. You know what I'm saying? Here's a more detailed breakdown. Pork. China is a major importer of U.S. pork, and U.S. pork exports to China is significant. While China is a major beef importer, it is not a primary supplier of the U.S. The U.S. imports beef from other countries, right? And what are these other countries? It could possibly be the countries that we just named, man. Okay? All right? So the supply chain is being tampered with of these various trade wars. Okay, America has weaponized the American dollar, and you have these other countries that are feeling the blows. And quite frankly, they're getting tired of it. Okay, this is going to be a reason why these other nations are going to come up against Babylon the Great. Okay, and China is one of them. China, America yielded to China and its tariffs on it because of the Americans are about to feel, the squeeze on this place, man. And we're pampered. Americans are pampered. You know what I'm saying? So this place here, that's carefree, soon it's about to be touched. Okay. Now this is Habakkuk. Well, we'll start at the top. Habakkuk 2:1. I was staying upon my watch. It set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And Yahweh answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. And we're in that time to where all the prophecies that we've been speaking about, man. Chiefly that prophecy of famine. We're starting to see that. This is something that's real, man. We're living in a time when it's about to get very difficult out here. Okay, we've been prophesying about this for quite a long time. Start with the elders and bishops, the apostles. You did, So we're in a time where these visions are speaking. Okay, it's going to get very difficult out here, and they're saying within a few weeks, you know, we could see panic buying. We could see shortages to where price gouging occurs. But all this is it's because famine is a part of prophecy. Okay, all right. Verse 4: Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by faith, by his faith. Yea, also because he transgresses by wine, he's a proud man, neither keepeth at home. Who enlarges his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Right? So this man, Esau Edom, so-called white man, transgressed by wine. Right? What is that wine? That philosophy. Therefore, that philosophy that he has made the world drunk with, has made him very, very prideful. Even in dealing with economics, man. You know, even with dealing with capitalism and the logistics of capitalism, just in time, philosophy, how he stores food, how he, the stock exchange, what I'm saying, these, credit, debit, all these things he has made him very prideful, right? And with this philosophy, that wine, which his monetary system is a part of it because it's a fiat currency. It's not backed by anything. A fiat currency is simply a currency that's not backed by anything. What made the American dollar strong was attaching it to oil during the 1970s, during Nixon, right? Making that deal with Saudi Arabia, taking the American dollar off the gold currency and pegging it artificially with oil, right? And with that mindset, he has created a artificial want for the American dollar, man. Right? He made the American dollar a reserve currency, and it's a fiat currency. It's not real. All right. And with his military, well, I should say his monetary might, man, he was able to put the people under subjection, the other nations under subjection. You know what I'm saying? Why is that? Because he's able to, with the strength of the American dollar, he's able to dictate contracts. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to be paid good, don't you? Well, you got to use my currency. Well, if you want to use my currency, then this is what I want from you. I want cheap labor. You know what I'm saying? I want certain environmental regulations to not be seen in your country, right? Um, Child labor, don't worry. I ain't worried about that. I don't want to hear about that in your country. That's why we're bringing, labor to you. If you want to use, and if you want this contract, you're going to use our currency. We're going to get you at a cheap price, right? And that's why he has Asia in such a grip, because Asia produces, and exports to America because of the strength of the American dollar, bro. You know what I'm saying? So he's able to control the people, right? Verse 6: Shall not all these take up a parable against him and a taunting proverb against him, and say, Woe to him that increases that which is not his? How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay, and that clay is, I believe, abatya, but it means debt, right? Because that's all what the American dollar is nothing but debt, you know, right? Verse 7, shall they not rise up suddenly, that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, thou shalt be for booties unto them, right? Look at these various pacts. You know, China has made himself very strong. China is a manufacturer, has control over a manufacturing company here, you know, that distributes meat. I believe it's called Smithfield, right? Does China own Smith? Yes, yes, yes. Overview, AI overview. Yes, Smithfield Foods. The check this out. The world's largest pork producer is owned by the Chinese company WH Group. WH Group acquired Smithfield in 2013 for 4.7 billion, while WH Group is a Chinese multinational conglomerate. Smithfield Foods operates as an independent subsidiary within the HW Group, and all Smithfield products are made in the United States. Okay, so you have China able to, you know, accumulate, you know, certain pork or pork producing this particular pork producing company called Smithfield, right? And it owns other food processing companies here, right? This is why, you know, with America, you know, they had to yield to you know, to China's demands to lower these tariffs, because China and America has an interdependent relationship. They need one another, and China has made itself very powerful. Okay, very, very, very powerful. Okay, and these other nations, you better believe they're making certain pacts to get away from the strength of the American dollar, like BRICS, right, which is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South America and other countries, right? Them making economic pacts with one another, right? Venezuela is involved, right? Why is that? Because America, again, it has weaponized its currency, right? You know, with these sanctions, you know, and people are getting tired of it, and well, I should say nations are getting tired of it, and these nations are rising up against America. Okay, they're going to rise up against America, all right? And then meantime, between time, the American people, right? The American people are going to start feeling uh, the repercussions of China and these other countries, you know what I'm saying, coming up against America, man. It's only the first wave, right? There's more coming down the pipe. There's more coming down the pipe, man. Let's get back to the scriptures, all right? Because uh, we're seeing birth pains to something bigger, and that's all out chaos, man. You know, we'll see more of these policies, more volatile prices, because ultimately judgment is coming to this place, man. Okay, all right. So we got to be aware of what times we're living in. Okay, verse 5. Yea, also because he transgressed by wine, he's a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlarges his desires hell, and is as death, cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, Woe to him that increases that which is not his? How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay? Shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be booties unto them, which is treasure? Because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee. Because of man's blood, and for the violence of the land, of the city, and all that dwell therein. That's right, that military industrial complex that America has formed to do what? To ultimately destroy the people, right? To subjugate these various countries and these various nations. Okay, and it's going to lead to America being uh, uh, hated by these other nations, which is going to lead to war. Okay, so these tariffs, you know, are bigger pictures of something. And yes, the American people will have to suffer. You know, it's time for all of us to go on or die anyway. It's too many big backs out here. So hey, so shall it be. Praise edifying. Shalom.